Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I actually want to break down some of the teaser images that we did get for the very last episode here. And yeah, some really interesting shots here. There's actually some stuff that sort of threw me off in terms of like things regarding the timeline of the episode and just what moments are happening here and there. But yeah, anyways, let's get into this here. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get more Walking Dead content like this. I don't think I have to warn people for spoilers anymore for episode 23. I'm assuming most people have watched it already. So 6 more days though, until The Walking Dead returns and then actually ends. So crazy stuff. Honestly, it's just, I can't believe it. Like, it's kind of cool just seeing online everyone's reactions and stuff. And right now, honestly, it feels really amazing. The fact that everyone's on the same page, the fact that they're promoting each episode like this, like, honestly, it really feels like this is really what it should have been the whole time. Like, I know they want to do AMC Plus and all that. I get that. But there's just something about, like, right now anyways, being a Walking Dead fan and everybody's on the same page going into, this Sunday here. Everybody's excited. They're releasing a bunch of stuff. And like, again, everyone's excited about what they're releasing. People are freaking out about it, and it's I'm gonna enjoy this while it lasts. Obviously, the Walking Dead is ending here in 6 days, so yeah, let's just celebrate The Walking Dead, because afterwards there's gonna be a lot of talk on like Rick Grimes and stuff like that. So now I just sort of have these things randomly sort of placed out, so let's actually go through it. I didn't go through every single image or use every single image anyways, just because a lot of stuff was kind of similar, and like, yeah, I just didn't see the point in talking about the shots when they're like very similar. But yeah, we have a shot here of Ezekiel, Kelly, Magna, and Yumiko, and yeah, incredible shot here. This is likely going to be in the opening minutes of the episode. Like, I imagine that this whole thing here really may be done within the first 5 to 10 minutes of this episode, and then we just move on to other stuff, just because, in terms of pacing and like the stuff they have to get to, I imagine a lot of this here is going to be pretty rushed through, because they have done that in the past, right, with like other scenes, other cliffhangers and stuff like that, where there was a lot of action. The following episode basically wraps up the action so fast. But yeah, this shot's pretty cool though. Like, I'm actually really excited to see how this is all going to play out, where they're all going to go. I do think we actually have a hint here in some of the images here. We go to the next one. We see Princess and Carol here. Actually, we do have quite a bit of characters. I believe that's Maggie. I think that's Gabriel in the background. I could be wrong. I see Max in the background too, I think. There's a bunch of characters here in this shot. And yeah, this is just going to be a really fun sequence, I think, just to go through, just because there's going to be so much like chaotic elements to it, right? And so I'm really curious as to how things are going to play out here. And we'll talk about it in another video, but just because they're trapped here. But we did get a sneak peek where Rosita is actually out of danger. But if you do remember some of the shots, she's not holding Coco yet. And so later on, I guess she is holding Coco. So yeah, I'm just really curious on how fast a lot of this is going to play out here. If maybe some of it is extended for like, up to 30 minutes of the episode. We have this shot of Mercer, and obviously we know he's going to get broken out of the cell here. I'm really curious as to what kind of role he's going to play here, because it kind of feels like with where everything's at right now, he's kind of done. Like, I don't know if he's really going to play a role, honestly, in convincing the Commonwealth soldiers to side with our group. Like, I could see how he could maybe. Like, there's a chance that maybe his voice does help. But that's the thing. Like, if Judith does give that final speech, and I will say, like, there's been no confirmation that that's actually going to be happening here. Like, I'm just saying that if you go based off of the comic, it kind of makes sense. And because Judith has been sort of saying a bunch of opening dialogue and stuff like that in every single episode for the last however many episodes, it just kind of makes sense that they're building to this. Basically, Judith is going to be the Rick Grimes character, I guess, in this episode. So then we have this shot here of Negan, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to be happening of him in this episode. Like, there's so much stuff there. I did watch that Walking Dead documentary, and there was a moment there where they say, all right, we're going to wrap here with Jeffrey and Lauren or whatever, and it just seemed like Maggie and Negan were together, just sort of, out there in the woods. And I'm like, is that how you end all of this? Like, are you just ending it with them traveling to New York now, basically? Like, they sort of wrap up whatever they have to wrap up, and now they're going there. I'm just very curious as to what's actually going to be happening here, because do I see a happy ending for these characters? I do believe so. I think it's going to happen, but like, I just find it weird that Annie's not around. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if something's going to be happening to her. I don't know if, she was introduced for the sole purpose of giving Negan this, like, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but like, this certain arc where he becomes his old self, and you can sort of explore that in his spinoff, right? Like, I'm just really curious, because a lot of people have theorized that for a while. We're clearly going to find out here, right? Like, I wouldn't mind it if Annie did survive, but like Maggie and Negan just sort of leave just for unrelated stuff, but like he's gonna come home to them. Like, I think that could work, because Annie's really cool. We then have this shot of Diane, and yeah, I have no idea where she's been. I mean, a lot of characters have been missing for a while. It's kind of funny because Virgil is literally gone. Like, where's Virgil? I'm sorry, but that character just like randomly disappeared. Is that character even in Alexandria anymore based off of what's been happening to it? there's just so many things here where I'm like, why did you ignore that character? What happened to you? Honestly, probably, worthy of doing a video on, like, what actually happened to Virgil. I understand with Luke, like, Luke was at Oceanside, and there's already some, complaints about how they handled that storyline in general, which I do get. But Virgil was, like, such a big part of Michonne's ending. Could have really become a big character because he was he's a great character. He's such an awesome actor. Like, it's awesome to have him on screen. The episode with him and Connie was just fantastic. But like, as soon as he gets to Alexandria, he's just gone. And literally, this is the last episode here. I don't even know if we're going to see him. Like, it doesn't seem like he's actually going to show up here. Diane, I think she should have also played a little bit more of a role here. But, I mean, to be fair, we have seen her here and there, right? Like, we saw her at the Hilltop, and I think she decided to go to the Commonwealth and stuff. So I guess she's just sort of been living her own separate life for a bit. We have another shot here of Maggie, and yeah, I guess we've already seen certain angles of this same shot. We have a shot here of Pamela Milton with, like, that big, I guess, armored vehicle behind her. That armored vehicle definitely is I guess, would be useful for an escape plan, right? Like, if she was actually planning to leave, like, she could easily, like, run in there. She would be safe to escape, but, like, then you gotta rely on a driver and stuff, and if everyone turns on her, like, it literally might not matter. We have this shot here of Daryl and Carol, and we also have a Commonwealth soldier not even pointing their gun at them. They're actually pointing their gun, I believe, at Pamela Milton and everyone else. So yeah, this is really cool because this is, like, literally at the end. Like, this is sort of the final showdown here, right? And we have these two characters here. I wonder what they're looking at. Like, they could just be looking at Pamela Milton. I do wonder if Judith sort of walked by and is, like, giving this speech and that's what they're looking at. And the reason why I'm so fixated on that is just because we don't really have a lot of shots of Judith. Like we have some stuff here and we'll get into it, but it's a lot of stuff that would happen early on. And I'm just trying to think, like, out of all the characters, who's going to be the character that gives this, like, epic final speech? If they're going based off of the ending of the comic anyways, because Rick does that and sort of ends everything, right? Everyone sides with Rick. They don't want Pamela Milton in charge anymore. In this episode here, like who's going to be taking that storyline? And I don't really know if there's a character to do that. Like, I've always assumed Ezekiel. I just don't know at this point. Like, it just doesn't seem like it based off of how Judith's character has been given a lot of importance right now. I just kind of feel like it's going to be her. And honestly, that one comment I saw the other day in the Q&A where they actually said that what if Judith gives that speech, it would technically be almost a full circle moment with her father during All Out War when he gave like, my mercy prevails over my wrath speech and just his beliefs in that season and stuff, right? Like, I think it could make a lot of sense. So like, I do wonder. We have another shot here of Pamela Milton and yeah, no idea. I mean, I love the visuals here. Like, I just love the fact that everything's blurred out in the background and stuff, and then the focus is on her. I think this is really awesome. Another shot here of Gabriel. I believe this is actually in that room or that apartment or whatever where they find Coco. So that's kind of cool. We then have Daryl here as well, and Daryl, I think Judith actually lays on this bed right here. So I think he's getting the bed ready. See, the thing is, Daryl actually has a black eye here. So we know right now he doesn't have one. So I'm assuming he's about to get knocked out and then he wakes up and then I guess everything's fine. Like, I wonder if when he gets knocked out, like him and Judith sort of fall to the ground or whatever, I'm wondering if that was done more in a way to, like, cut the tension there, cut the scene and transition to something else, right? Because they sort of do that a lot. I feel like if you were to have it constantly ongoing, there's so much stuff there. Whereas if you just have Daryl just sort of get knocked out and then he wakes up in a situation like this, immediately you sort of calm the momentum of the story, and that could be what's actually happening here. We do have a lot of shots of Carol and a bunch of other characters and stuff in this hospital as well. Like, we have a shot here, like I said, of Carol, and then you go and you have Kelly, Yumiko, Magna, and Connie. It's kind of cool that they have all four of them together because they haven't really all four been together in a while, so it's cool for this last episode they're reuniting them. But yeah, it looks like they all actually make it into this hospital. Like, just judging based off of sort of the layout here, I actually wonder if they're like, they're pushing the desk here in front of the door, and if Kelly's looking this way, and then you go back to a shot of Carol, and Carol's looking at her, and Carol's like, yeah, I don't know, they just have some sort of plan of escape here. We also have another shot here of Kelly as well, and yeah, super cool shot. We have Luke there. And man, like, I do wonder what happens to Luke. I wonder if Luke is actually going to die here in that moment, because like none of the characters from Magna's group has died yet. I'm pretty sure in the comic a lot of them do, right? And I think a lot of them actually died during the Whisper of Pike scene. So yeah, there's that. So maybe Luke goes here, right? Like, it's possible. And then we have this shot here of Negan, and there's sort of two shots here. There's a shot of Negan and Maggie just sort of talking about stuff, and I don't know what this is in relation to. I really don't. This is clearly happening before the final battle, just because you look at the shot of Negan and you see the stairs here. There is like sort of this apartment complex. I believe there's probably a garage near where they are loading up with ammunition and stuff like that. So they have some sort of talk here. I wonder if they're talking about you know, I wonder if Maggie's like forgiving Negan here. I'm just trying to think, because it's like the final episode, so there's a lot of stuff that they're probably going to do like that, right? A lot of stuff that's going to be said. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually talking about Glenn. Like, I think that could actually be something that's happening here. Another shot here, Pamela Milton. I mean, basically same as the other one, but yeah, just more shots of Pamela Milton. We have another one here of Eugene. And again, this is at the moment here where I believe they're all sort of talking about what to do next. And after all the chaos that happened with them trying to escape the variant walkers and stuff like that. So at this point, is Rosita dead? Is that why Eugene just looks like he's a mess right now? I think it's very possible. Like, obviously, everyone thinks Rosita's going to be the one to go. I think it's going to be crazy if it actually does happen. And we'll talk about it in my other video because I do want to break down the sneak peek that actually came out. But man, if it actually does happen, I actually think it could be the perfect character death. It really could. Just because I think Rosita, at least for me personally, out of all three characters that were introduced going back to like season 4, like Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita was always sort of my favorite, kind of a tie a little bit with Abraham, but Rosita is kind of an original character. When you look at just like the overall series, she was introduced in season 4. That's a very, very long time ago. And, you know, yeah, she wasn't there during the prison arc. She wasn't there during the farm arc and stuff, but she's been around for a very, very long time. I think out of all the characters, her death, I think, is going to impact people the most, especially if it's sort of like this sacrifice, right? So yeah, I think it's going to be super emotional. I don't know, maybe it doesn't happen, but it just kind of feels like, based off of the footage and stuff like that, that it is going to happen. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But we have the shot here of Magna, and yeah, again, this is just like some final battle stuff or whatever. And then we have another shot here of Yumiko. No idea what their plan is, but they're clearly trying to do something here. Either probably to deal with the variant walkers, to be honest. I'm trying to think, like, would they be doing something to deal with Pamela Milton? Maybe, but I feel like they're trying to lure the walkers into a certain region kind of thing, right? So they might be doing something like that. I think that's actually dynamite right there, so that could be what they're doing. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.